Welcome, 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 everyone, to another adventure into reality. Come on in, sit on down, and relax a little bit as we get ourselves ready to talk about the difficult, the strange, the unusual, and that which is the history of our place in space and time, as well as current events, subject matters. We're going to be opening the calls up here in just a little bit, but we're going to see if there are people out there that want to ask some different questions. So head on into that chat room, click on the chat button, and use your little fingertips to type in a current events question. Right now in the United States, we are going through the impeachment of Donald J. Trump, and the energy harvesting bastards are out there harvesting energy left and right. People are feeling drained. People are feeling as if something's being stolen from them. So if you are being affected by this energy of confusion, hesitation, and doubt from these energy harvesting people, put on something to the chat and want to know about what your experiences are. The life we get to live each and every day is meant for us and us alone. When we allow ourselves to have new forms of energy, new forms of frequencies within our place, space, and time, whole avenues get opened up for us. So many people have called me and they say, I'm lost. Why are you lost? Most people have forgotten what being found is and being on a right path, and lost is a state of being for them. Okay? So we have Alan asking, what's going on in Antarctica? Call in and ask. We want to open up the subject matters where it's not just people going, I'm lost, help me be found. There's a wide variety of subject matters. Recently, I did another show, part 6 of the global narrative, which you guys have been gobbling up. And then there's the people of the world stuff that Andre and I have been doing. And I want to thank Andre Hodge for creating so many of those videos. We sit down and talk for hours upon hours upon hours about what's going on. So, Robert, let's ask those people to raise your hand if you have a question about the recent shows, Global Narrative, People of Our World, or you want to talk current affairs. And yes, we will talk the other subjects, but I'm encouraging people to open up and broaden to who you are, what you are, by asking questions that can help aid other people too, as well as yourself with what's going on. We have a president here in the United States. We've got Davos going on all at the same time. Hey, let's pull back the curtain and see what's going on there. So let's click on that participants button, click raise hand if you have questions, you want to have a conversation with me. I love having standard normal conversations with people. How often do you have hosts that open it up where you can have a full-on conversation with them? So Robert, let's spin up that wheel of callers and let's see who wants to have conversation with me.
Okay. Welcome to the show, everyone. Mary Walters, you're our first caller with Andrew. You're unmuted.
Mary, are you there?
I am.
Hi, where are you calling from today?
I'm actually Adelaide, Australia.
Adelaide, Australia. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
It's been a bit of an interesting time here in Australia, as you know. And I just feel that there's lots of things that are being raised spiritually, energetically for myself and obviously those that are around. And one of the things that I'm having issues with at the moment is trying to keep myself grounded, being an empath. And I seem to be feeling like I'm being attacked energetically by ETs. I've been fortunate enough to have found you, and I've been doing the revocations that you gave as a gift when I joined your site, but I'm still having struggles in relation to keeping myself and those around me, you know, protected, and I'm not quite sure what to do and what I'm doing. Not so much wrong, but what is it that I need as a tool to keep myself grounded, to protect myself and those around me from these ETs?
The most important thing is stop being an empath. Right now, you're an uncontrolled empath, meaning once you turn on, you're tuning into every psychic mouse far neighborhood.
Yes. Okay.
And as long as you don't roll over it, you can't label yourself an empath.
Okay.
That's the most important thing. Learn how to turn it on and how to turn it off. How to use ritual and ceremony and contract revocation to clear your field so that when it is time for to stick the periscope up and you turn on your psychic skills, you're not overwhelmed by every mouse fart and stuff going on in your neighborhood. All too often, that's what's wrong with many people. They label themselves an empath and they live that way and they don't know how to turn it off. That's the first part. It's taking the label of an empath away. Everyone's an empath, actually. We live in a world of emotions that tries to be ruled by logic. And as long as the world of emotions is being ruled by logic, there's a confliction. Okay? So it's not about entering logic more than anything. It's about understanding you're an asymmetrical perception being, meaning everything's coming at you from all these different angles, and your logical brain's trying to process it, and it processes it as an attack, when in fact it's just information that's overloading you. Oftentimes when people perceive ETs as attacking them, they're really not attacking, they're actually just trying to communicate to you. But because since so many of your communication channels are bogged down by all sorts of other junk data from your local environment, you perceive it as an attack. That's your adrenaline system taking over and using your empathic skills against you.
Thank you. It's interesting that you say that, because I actually didn't label myself an empath. Somebody else did. So,
but you adhered to it.
I did. So, is there, when you said turn it on, turn it off, is there a tool that I can utilize for that, or is there a wording that I need to say, or?
Part of your daily practice is to know when you have the most amount, when your spike of energy, your most amount of energy is every day. When you have the most amount of energy, it's pretty much every day you get up.
Okay.
When is that? What's that time?
I haven't really thought about that. Thank you very much for bringing it to my attention.
That's the most important. And what you'll notice is many of these moments you felt like you're under attack or overloaded, your skill sets are turning on, like the rising of the moon to high noon.
Mm-hmm.
And when that time you are at the highest amount of energy, you want to be lowering your skill sets so you're not overloaded. And then after a while, how would you do that? It's a matter of choice. That I know I've been awake for 2 hours, and roughly 3 or 4 hours after I awaken is I get a big peak of this is the most amount of energy I'm going to have. Then you're going to lower your energy. You're going to have food. It's going to go up and down, but the big spike in the beginning, since you're trying to ratchet down your skill, I'm in control of myself, but I'm also understanding that these skill sets, I cannot suppress them. I must learn how to utilize them as proper skills and tools. And right now, being overloaded by this information will not help me understand the bubbles of reality that are around me. So body, mind, and spirit and environment that is around me, we're lowering the total volume of information coming to me that is going to be equal to my level of awareness without overloading me. I am making these moments as sacred choice to lower the volume and to increase my capacity to be grounded in my body. For I know when I am overloaded by information, I end up having to not be in my body, because that's what's happening to me. I am choosing to be in my body at this moment. I don't need to be a multidimensional, multifunctional being at every moment in time, because I am meant to be living here with my family, friends who may not have these tools and skills that I have. And by learning to master these tools and skills daily, I will once again be able to open like a flower at high noon so that I can have proper communications without being overloaded. That's a set of words that you can use. You can modify them, but in the choice point of creating it, you have to know that as I'm reaching that high frequency is where you've got to begin to prepare the body through that out loud name it to claim it system. What I like to do is put myself in a challenging scenario. Like it was when I was early and I didn't understand what my skills were going on. I would go to a very much publicly crowded place, as crowded as I could get it, and sit someplace that was comfortable and pull out a notebook and just try to write and make sure that all of that distracting focus, I had to learn to tune it out. Even if I was just doing times tables, anything that required a cognitive function journey. So part of you may want to do puzzles or something that is an lead up where you got to begin to occupy your brain. Okay, that'll be a great way to help stop the overload. And knowing you're deprogramming yourself from the perception of the attack, because real attacks will do a lot different than what you think they will do. They'll really make you hurt mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think for myself, my girlfriend that actually introduced me to you, because I was attacked at one stage and I actually thought I was dying. And that was a very interesting experience. And I think now that I'm a lot more aware of the things that are occurring, or the potential, perhaps I'm being a lot more oversensitive about situations. So thank you for putting perspective into everything and enlightening me, and hopefully others that are listening today, that there are different ways that we can look at things, and it's not always putting it into a box.
Right. Sometimes you put a square peg into a square box and it doesn't fit.
That's right.
Okay.
So
or
just
it's too nice, right? And then if it's too nice, and that's paranoia.
Yes.
Okay. Multi-dimensional polyhedron peg to polyhedron hole.
Thank you.
Okay. Now something else. I know you said you didn't label yourself as an empath, but you took it on.
Yes.
And in spirituality, it's so easy to take something on as a belief. Okay. You adhered to that because it has a ring of truth to you. It resonated, didn't it?
It did.
Now, something that empaths get stuck with is narcissists. They're attracted to them like flies to shit. Is it fair to say you have a lot of narcissistic people in your reality or in the past?
Very high.
You can't help it. And what you can use is, we generally know narcissistic people are predictable as hell. If they're in freak out narcissistic moment, blaming everything on you, the energy's wrong in them. And you got to say, I'm actively denying energy exchange between me and this narcissistic person. That is when that's data overload. That's hardcore data overload. And then learn how to clear out their dirty light from yours. It's like dirty mop water.
Thank you.
You can actively say, I am releasing all of the dirty light I've taken from the narcissistic people because I took on this concept, overcompensated this concept of being an empath, and I'm now purging this dirty light out so I may have my own pure light to invest in my own self.
Okay. Is there obviously I'm taking on everything or listening to everything that you're saying. Is there somewhere on your site that has some of those wordings that I can perhaps share, download?
There's a show on narcissism on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
I think it's back in October. You have to go back into the videos.
Okay.
If somebody can link the show in the chat room on narcissists, you'll be able to see somebody figures it out in the chat room. I can't think of which one it is. I can't remember. It's labeled I think it's labeled narcissists. And there's a couple shows I did with David also that really goes in depth to the empath and narcissism.
Thank you very much for that. That's actually something that I've been working on quite intently. So I do appreciate that.
So something else to know, most empaths who have narcissists around them think because they're told that you're a narcissist all the time or the energies come that way, you're actually not. You're just trying to help them and you get stuck in their story.
Yes.
And their emergencies become more important than your emergencies.
Yes.
So there's a link in there right now. It's titled Universal Citizen Media Live, Relationships with the Self, Beating the Narcissist. There's a video for it in the YouTube channel right there.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Okay. You know, something else to note, you've got a lot of wildfires going on. As I understand, you recently in the Adelaide area getting a little bit of rain and some breakage in the high weather.
Yes.
How much rain are you getting now? Is it enough to dampen some of the fires?
Kangaroo Island is now under control. So probably 7/8 of that island was burnt out.
Wow.
And we got the official word yesterday that that's under control. The rain was quite dramatic for the last couple of days, so we're eternally grateful for that. Sadly enough, I'm not sure if America knows, but the east side of Australia is now under flood. So it's gone from one extreme to the other. So the lessons that Australia have, I'm hoping that the world actually realizes this is actually a message for everybody.
Yes. And that's something else that's going to be throwing you off. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You went from fires to flood. You know,
Yes.
for lack of better words, that's some biblical Armageddon stuff.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not really following the Bible here, but I'm using it as a turn of the phrase here.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to know that's triggering you at the soul level. And oftentimes the body and the soul go back to the good old narcissism for stability.
Uh-huh.
They are stable. There's one thing about narcissists, they're always going to be narcissists. And you've got to learn to go, no, I've got to connect to the land and offer blessings to it. Blessings to all the animals that are going through the harshness too. Offer
Yes.
prayers of help to them. Don't turn to the narcissist out of stability, a habit and stability. Turn to the lands.
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard me talk about ancestral soups?
No, I haven't. I'm actually a new Andrew Bartzis follower.
Okay. Well, I talk about this frequently, and what that is you put a pot of soup on your grill or your stove,
Mm-hmm.
and you put about 2 to 3 hours of prayers into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use the contract revocations. You're putting your essence and your effort in it. And what I like to tell a lot of people is once you've done a significant portion of actual prayers, you then try to tell your story, who you are, what you are, some of the life challenges and your trials and tribulations to this soup. And then you're going to consume a little bit of it and then take certain portions of it and offer it to the lands as an energetic ancestral offering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that goes
Yes.
a long way at grounding you because you're offering your words as service through energy.
Okay. That makes sense because I actually it's Australia Day this weekend. And some of the elders, because as an example, I'm a member of the Brother Sister here in Australia. And without permission, bones actually had to be, were in museums around the world and they actually came back to land. And I felt committed for Australia Day to actually go back to the place where they were. And we had the ceremony for bringing those bones back to land, and that was my commitment to the Aboriginal community. So obviously I'm on the right track. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for calling in. I got to move on to the next caller.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Let's Robert, let's spin up that wheel of callers and see who comes up to want to have a conversation next.
Okay, next caller will be Sohail. You are muted with Andrew.
Sohail, are you there?
Hey, Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Where are you calling from today?
From Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We've spoken to each other.
I remember. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm so excited to talk about your stuff that I can be more excited about, that the callers can be more excited about, to do your work, to take it to the next level. So the first question I have is about contract revocations.
Okay.
Right? So when I do them with other people, with one of my best friends or with a small group, it feels so incredible. Like it feels like it's taken to a whole other level. Why is that? What happens?
There's a variety of reasons. First thing first, you practice them on your own and you had your own energetic releases and emotional releases doing them.
Yeah.
You are then holding space for another person, knowing full well the words will trigger them, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And once they get triggered, you have the power of two people holding space for the same thing, reclaiming their authority. And you got your energy arms out going, I'm making sure you're getting your authority back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something for you.
Right.
Okay? And then there are those times where you have somebody have a full-on emotional somatic release from a handful of lines, full-on tears. Have you seen that?
Absolutely. In myself and in others. Yeah. And on your show. Yeah, absolutely.
And that is a healing not only for that person, but for you that's holding the space.
So the person who's holding the space experiences the healing too.
Not the same healing as that person,
No,
but because you're holding space and it's a pay it forward energy, you get another instant repayment of healing by standing your ground.
Got it. Okay, super clear.
Yeah.
So next question I have.
Hold on, there's a few other ways to perceive this too.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
Contract revocation, it's meant to reclaim authority here. And it reclaims a lot of authority here. But there are some people, because of the nature of their karmas, the nature of their lives, they've given more authority away in the unseen world, and they have unseen abuses, like nightmares, stuff like that. And oftentimes, though, when they hear somebody really stumbling over a set of words and it's just plain English that they should be able to read,
yeah,
an unseen fraction being disintegrated out of their reality. There are quite a few lines in certain contract revocations, like the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Line after line after line is meant to reduce to zero minus infinity factions that are fighting in the dream world.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes me even more excited. I wish that once we could somehow manage to do a whole group revocation simultaneously online. Next question I have is about so I live in Amsterdam. That's absolutely a sacred geometry city.
Oh yeah.
And I've been feeling the energy since 2020. It's been intense. And I think a lot of people probably who live in sacred geometry cities have been feeling the energy amp up. So I did the thing that you recommend. I went to the city center. I stood in front of the obelisk, the sacred geometry buildings, and I did the revocation there. Because there's so many tourists and the city is literally so busy that I can be doing it out loud and nobody has any idea what I'm saying. So yeah, exactly. So it's very easy to do. I could just stand there and just consciousness strike the hell out of it and no one has an idea what I'm saying. I was wondering if you could give us some guided imagery that can strengthen these moments. Like, what do we actually do? What happens when you stand in front of a physical building and say it? What happens?
You ever play with Lego blocks when you were a kid?
Yeah.
You're taking one piece out of the big wall of Legos. That's that energy system. Now, it's hard to just hit a Lego thing and they don't just shatter because the nature of the way they are. You're taking one block out at a time, one block out at a time. But it's the nature of the energy construct. It's self-repairing. And it costs energy from the system to do the self-repairing. So when you're doing it, it's free for you to do it and you have a bit of fun and you get paid back for doing it. What you're doing is you're forcing the system to spend its own energy. As you're taking blocks away, a few hours later, it reconstructs itself. You come back again, it takes away. And the more you're able to do it, the more you're making the system itself spend its own reserves.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Right. Now, there are certain buildings where you think you can shatter the construct. Again, it's self-repairing. If you go in and shatter a certain construct, they're going to target your ass. Hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to make sure that the buildings you're doing, you're really doing it out of, I'm charging you something to do it. And I'm getting joy out of doing it. And I'm making you spend metaphorical dollars to fix it again.
Absolutely. Got it. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. You're gonna have to just kick my ass out of here and tell me to stop asking questions whenever the time is there. So another small one is that so in the spiritual community, you have this concept, the higher self, and it's so huge. Like, you want to become your higher self, you have to embody your higher self. But when you talk about it,
that's
exactly.
That's
when you talk about
bullshit. That's light worker bullshit. You are already your higher self.
So this is what I would like some clarification on. You've said sometimes like your higher self can be out in the universe doing all kinds of stuff, and so I am the I am, and I have a higher self, right? Could you clarify that a bit, that I understand?
The I am is here in time, and was constructed by the higher self during the time in the womb, based off of several previous I am selves who have gone through life reviews and have set up a theme of karma or dharma for the next life. So when you were in the womb, there was several people before you who acted as a council of, well, the new I am is going to have to do this. And you were then born, and by the time you were 3, 4, or 5, the majority of your DNA activated your I am technology. Then by your your time in your puberty, the rest of your I amness came in. Now your higher self is waiting for you to pass on and make another one of you. That higher self is also in contact with 10,000 selves ago and 10,000 selves in the future, as well as many other selves spread throughout the multiverse. And it's not really there as a puppet master. It's just there as a observer. And you are already the I am. That's the whole thing. We are all one. You already have that God source in you. And the I am is the technology of interface with your God source. It's not separate of you. It's already in you. That's why we have the I am technology.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very clear.
These are good questions. Keep going.
Okay, the last small one is about so Natalie. For the callers that don't know who that is, this was one of Andrew's best friends and co-hosts on a lot of great shows like the DNA show, dozens of shows, and she passed on a few years ago. And so I have almost never been so touched by a person that I've seen as by Natalie, and I was wondering why. Like, I know they must be a very important part of this game that we're in, but I was wondering, could you tell us a bit more about Natalie as a soul? Who are they? What is their role?
You have to know the human to understand the soul's greater purpose. Not a lot of people may not know this about Natalie. During the 90s, in the 90s and the early 2000s, she was a CEO of very major corporations in Hong Kong, like the top corporations in Hong Kong. And I have to keep some privacy here, but when she left the corporate world, corporate has its issues going on. She then became a horse healer, even though she had been riding horses since she was very young. She went and got cranial sacral advanced, Yun Master advanced, all sorts of horse healing skill sets, and was one of the best people out there when it came to healing horses worldwide, international recognition. So her focus was on healing the equine and animal communities. And then when we got together, it was one of those scenarios that her set of skill sets, my set of skill sets, and that humans and horses and humans and equines and humans and four-leggeds, there's not very much different. We've all been a horse, we've all been a deer, we've all been a tick, we've all been everything.
Yeah.
So her main sole focus is helping the four-legged, we'll just call it that for right now, to develop IM technology. That is the capacity to communicate with our IM technology.
Wow.
I think that the overarching theme is a soul who's been doing this for hundreds of lifetimes, yet while still in a human body.
Right. Okay, yes, because I remember you mentioned her connection to the horse clans. So now I understand. So she's, as a soul, is helping them create IM technology.
As modern living beings, yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hurdles it takes to get acknowledged by dumbass humans.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You know,
So
a horse can't just be like Mr. Ed and start talking. It's going to get dissected.
Yeah.
Horses learned that shit a long time ago. Don't just start talking. They're going to kill you.
Right.
Okay. So they had to develop ways of communicating to the stable hands and the people around them who had a level of empathy and a level of awareness that they could allow in, and then they can work in the dream world with them. Horses are very, very, they live between two worlds, between the dream world and this world. They're one eye here and one eye there all the time.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. And if there would be one thing that we could all, as listeners and callers, do to assist in this endeavor, one small invocation, one thing, one action, what would that be?
Well, there's the horse revocation for giving the IM energy back to horses. Have you seen that one?
No, I've never seen that one nor heard of it.
Well, let me see if I can find it in my documents. The Equine Sky and Star Nation. Let me see. I may not have it on this computer. Hold on, I'm on the wrong spot. I don't have it on this computer.
All right. Well, maybe you could someday put it up on your website, or
It was on the website for the longest time. I'll have to find out.
all right.
It was back in 2014 that we put it up. Let me just scan real quick. I might be able to have it here.
Sure.
Does anybody in the chat room have these Equine Sky Nation revocation? They may be able to link it there. I'll find somebody and I'll have it put up on the website. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Sure. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you.
Andrew, I see 3 copies in Google Docs.
Okay. Under by Google Doc.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look on it. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure this is the full one. Okay, I'll read it out. Just 1 second here.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Wow.
All right. Robert, can you give this one to the people in the chat room too? Can you upload it as a document so anyone in the chat room can get it?
I sure can.
And then we'll have Jen put it up somewhere so that people can get it that are watching it, not watching it live. All right. Equine Sky and Star Nation's Prayer for the New Earth 0 Point Time. The name of the Equine Sky and Star Nations of this and all other realms, I, Invicta, speak as their specific 0 point frequency, voice frequency. I break all contracts, vows, and agreements with the hierarchical nature that places horses as less than humans. I now return myself to the natural soul matrix, so I may find remedy and resolve for the universal equine equity. I open the spiritual cord of equity so this equine spirit, human spirit, and all the versions of experiences it has been may be unified with the soul matrix and allowed to complete its natural graduation path. It has been a path of constriction and control. I speak from the heart of the horse so that it may find its I am presence and be the divinity horse it's meant to be. I break all contracts, vows, and agreements with the ownership of all horse kind. I return all horses to their free will, to their hearts, so they find remedy and resolve through the spiritual cord of equine equity. I, Invicta, in the presence of the sacred fire, call forth all equine sky and star nations, ancestors past, present, and future, of all soul family lineages in symbiotic relationship with all other soul families. I call upon the tree people and the two-legged, the four-legged, the winged, and the finned, and all of the angelic beings to bear witness to the sovereign free will of equine nations being reborn to their divinity path. I, Invicta, in the name of the equine and star nations of this and all other realms, choose to enter the earth Akashic record, their sovereign free will concept. I am a being of light, an equine species. I now reclaim my soul family lineage rights. I reject all spirits and ancestral karma from the humankind. I no longer believe in ancestral karma. With all of my ancestors' presence, I declare to you, we do not have to bear the weight of the mistakes of ancestors in the past. We no longer even live in our universe. With this heart's truth, I now say, all forms of ancestral karma return to those that created it. I am here to find remedy and resolve, not justice or judgment. I show all of my brothers and sisters my sovereign free will heart, so that all species kind know we are on the divinity path. To show all humankind, all sentient kind, that all species have a right to coexist without any rules or limitations, so that we may freely co-create. We understand our path in this DNA skin suit. We now revoke all contracts, vows, and agreements with the commerce market, any exchange for value energy system that does not recycle the gifts of life. We break all contracts, vows, and agreements with any media organization that choose our equine nations as promotion for the equine industry. We break all contracts, vows, and agreements with all pictures or video that has been taken of us. We are a being that lives in the moment. We do not live in the past nor the future. We are multidimensional, multifunctional, fully spiritual beings manifested in these four legs. And with this voice, we now reject all system karma, all birth karma. We return it to the equine spiritual court of equity so that the ancestors may find remedy and resolve. We can no longer bear the weight of a system that does not care, that does not have the heart, that does not recycle the gifts of life. With this stated, I, Invicta, call forth Earth Mother to record this into the Earth Akashic Records, so all sentient kind knows that the equine sky and star nations of this and all other realms have claimed their sovereign free will. And so it begins. The winds of perception change as human and equine come one step closer into understanding the ever-present co-creative moment living now. This natural way of life exists for all sentient kind, living and coexisting with all of Earth Mother's realms. The heart of the horse is the fabric of the dream space we all live in. It is horse who spread the fabric of reality spider wove, so we could dream the ever-present co-creative dream, linked to all the realities of all dimensions, time streams, galaxies, and universes. This was Earth's children's mission, to be the unvanquished dream of free co-creation. Now in this moment, I continue forth on the blazing trail. I now see those on this path who've assembled like perfect sections of great mysteries puzzle. I call forth the proper spiritual chord of equine equity so that we may find remedy and resolve with all contracts that have been inserted, fine print during all birthing moments in all lifetimes I was born. I demand the instant return to zero balance all system karma of all lifetimes, past, present, and future. I demand the instant separation of human and equine interwoven lifetimes so I may see from both perspectives who I was, and what I was born into, willingly, unwillingly, known and unknown. In my search for the truth, I see all sides of the quantum entanglement equation. This I am presence declares sovereign boundaries so we may hold sacred space within each of ourselves without worry of invasion from any source not in alignment with the global dream time and unity consciousness for all sentient kind existing and coexisting on Earth Mother's realms. I now state with all ancestors present, I am ready to invoke my natural rights as universal citizen, born to Earth Mother's specific signature frequency. It's time we stop battling the worms and reach for the sky like fresh budding plants just emerging from the great soul of life. Powerful one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Natalie and I wrote that 2014, January 2014. She asked me to do something specific for the horses, and the term invicta means the unvanquished dream.
Yeah.
Something that's all throughout and we had gone into an extended ceremony, and I wrote that, and then she kept reading it out and helped me edit it a little bit, and I kept writing more. There's another 5 or 6 pages to that. And that was for specific horse lineages. Something that Natalie had asked me, it was to make, because she was a horse healer and she worked with some very wealthy people who had very expensive horses, who had specific, we'll just call them lineage curse issues. And part of my gift was to go into the records and help unravel some of those things. And this was a document that was created for her website, and so that she could just give this document to somebody that's a spiritual horse trainer, somebody that's discovering that they could put their hand on the heart of the horse and read this to them. And tens of thousands of horse people throughout the world were given this document and, had massive healings for them in the horse.
That is incredible. Wow. That is so special to know. Huh.
Yeah.
This was very moving, and I will definitely do this invocation, revocation many times.
You could add to it for anything. It's not just the horse. That's for all species kind.
Yeah.
For all species kind.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
What were you experiencing when I was reading it?
I felt like I was not here in this body. I was moving very fast, and I could feel wind, very clear wind that I have no idea what that was, but it was a very, like I was moving through space fast, and I could feel this beautiful wind around me.
Mm-hmm. You were riding the spirit horse.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
We've all done it before. Tens of billions of lifetimes we've all ridden the spirit horse.
Oh.
Up until the early 1900s, humans and horse were entangled as they needed each other.
Yeah, right. Yes, we lived so closely together, did everything together. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, darling, I got to move on to my next caller. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's 1 a.m. here, so I'm going to go to sleep, and I hope you guys have a great show. And thank you, Andrew, and thank you, everyone.
All right, Robert, let's spin up that wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation. Are you muted, Robert?
I was muted. Darn button. Dr. CBJ, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Dr. CBJ, are you there? Paging Dr. CBJ, are you there? Paging Dr. CBJ, are you there?
Don't think they tested their audio. They have an open mic. We can come back.
Paging the doctor, are you there?
Paging Dr. CBJ. Dr. CBJ.
Is the
Going once.
doctor there, Dr. Klaus? Exactly.
Okay, how about Finn Floor? You're unmuted with Andrew.
Finn, are you there? Mr. Finn, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Norway.
From Norway. Welcome to the show. What did you think about what we've been talking about so far?
Well, it's absolutely amazing, and also I can't believe I managed to get through.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Wow, this is really special.
So what did you want to talk about today?
First, I just wanted to say thanks to all the information you're putting out there. It's absolutely amazing. I first heard about you on the Vinny Eastwood show way back when.
Yeah, Vinny's a fun guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was wondering about for myself personally lately. Seems like I haven't been really good at following the way lately. It's like I'm doubting myself in the choices I make in everyday life, and I'm wondering what's up with that. If it's the energies or if it's myself or.
How old are you?
34 years old.
How long have you been grown up for?
Yeah, maybe that's the thing.
Do you know that you made an old man grunt when you had to figure that out?
Yeah, maybe I did. It's like I felt.
When did you have to grow up and be brutally honest with yourself?
Let's see. I'm guessing around 20, 19, 20,
Okay.
21, somewhere around there.
Was it a harsh time to grow up for you?
Yeah, it was actually. I was coming up as a chef in the restaurant business, and the guy I was working for wasn't really a good guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are you doing now as a job?
Yeah, I'm actually working as a head chef, but I'm on sick leave from that job now, since they kind of replaced my position with this other guy who has a very, very low vibration and just almost makes me hurl. It's it's not a good working relationship, so I had to get out of it.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So you're hesitating and doubting yourself because you've been on this path of having to be grown up for so long that you have to discover how to be a kid again to balance some of your serious adult stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up in the restaurant business. I know how easy it is to get fully invested and involved in it. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
What do you do for fun?
Well,
That isn't
when the season is in, I like to play golf, and at home I like to tend to a garden. I mean, I grow vegetables and herbs and stuff, and I like the art of cooking. The science of it, and but sometimes the job just gets to me.
So what do you do that isn't cooking based, that isn't chef based for fun, other than golf?
Not that much actually, and
That's why you've got such a serious side to you right now. It's hard for you to go back to that being that 20-year-old that's free, that's carefree and ready to do whatever, and knows they still have to be serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all the seriousness is kind of overwhelming,
Mhm.
and a part of me also tried to like kind of almost escape from it. So I was trying to become a teacher in the culinary arts, and also I found that to be extremely stressful. It
And
is.
quite a dirty industry.
Say what?
Quite a dirty industry too. A lot of
Oh
backstabbing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I thought about getting away from that business and just started teaching instead. And I thought,
Why don't you just pull an Anthony Bourdain and write your version of Kitchen Confidential?
yeah, maybe I should.
His
Yeah.
book sold like 20 million copies, man.
yeah, he's still selling them.
Still, he's dead.
that.
He's selling them. Exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, he lives on. Yeah.
So my advice for you is you got to seriously have to figure out how to be a kid again.
Yeah.
Do you have any big comedy clubs in your area that you can go to? Stand up.
No, not in my area, but I can probably go travel an hour or something to the next city.
I'd highly recommend that you put that on a regular basis. Okay.
I mean, go see comedy or try it out myself.
Go actually into a stand-up comedy place where you have to feel live laughter around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? It will go a long way at helping you get that serious stick out of your ass.
Yeah.
Okay? Or in your case, spatula.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Is that?
Okay? Golf is good too, but it's middle of winter over there. You really can't golf, can you?
Oh no. Yeah, it's a mild winter, but still, you know.
Right, you're not golfing in the winter. Okay?
No.
You got to find something else that keeps you mentally, physically, and spiritually refreshed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go fishing. What about?
I say this regularly. You know, as a man, go get an RC car. They're cheap as hell now. You can drive them around outside and be a kid and crash them into the snow. You go buy a quadcopter and RC airplane for virtually nothing now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah. So this reason the grown let the stick up my ass is that also the reason why I have pain in my hips and joints?
You've been in the restaurant business for quite a few years now, and you beat up your body.
Yeah.
What have you done to help heal your body?
Well, I do stretches a lot, and I'm going swimming once and twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the water is like healing energy.
It is, but that's just basic maintenance.
Yeah. So what do you recommend?
Basic maintenance.
Yeah.
And this is where you've got to be creative if money is tight for you. There are 1,001 masseuses in your area you could trade cooking, you can trade meals for, okay? All you do is tell them buy the stuff and you'll cook for them in exchange for some deep tissue massage.
Yeah.
You're a chef. I guarantee you your backs, your calves are as tight as concrete. And as long as the back and calves are tight as concrete, guess what? Your whole back's going to be fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I always have trouble with my hips. I think I broke my tailbone when I was like 5 years old, going playing in the snow and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had any Chinese acupuncture on you?
No, I haven't.
I would highly recommend that you go to a Chinese acupuncturist and an herb that can give you herbs, and it will help you get over some of your tailbone injuries. But right now you need to get the body out of stress. And one of your biggest bang for your healing dollars is going to be flotation tanks, because you're stressed out in the restaurant, and the flotation tanks can put you in a zero gravity mode, pull out all of the swelling in the certain joints areas, and they'll replenish your magnesium sulfate.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. They actually do have that in my area. I found out recently, actually. So
and
that's
again, there's what's just basic quote maintenance. and then when you're really giving the body. Like I'd recommend you in the beginning to go and do 2 floats in 1 week, 2 floats the next week, and then take off for 2 weeks, and then go do 1 a week for 2 months. So it's a total of 12 floats in a span of 3 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 16 floats in the span of 3 months, 2 months. What is that going to do? It's going to show you how much pain your body's been and how much you have the classic chef, I'm sucking it up and taking the pain and moving on. And after a while, you don't know that you're actually in pain anymore. Until the day you're grown like an old man at 34.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got me there. Yeah, you know, that's the culture, you know, it's like suck it up, take it as a man and just fight through it, you know.
Yeah, well, that's where you got to pull the spatula out of your ass and go, no, I'm not taking it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it. And I take it you don't take anything for pain, do you? No pain pills?
No.
Okay. You absolutely need to go and have an anti-inflammatory. You absolutely need to take an anti-inflammatory. Your choice, you can use over the counter, you can ask the Chinese medicine people, you can get turmeric, but you need to be on an anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, okay. What if I make tea with fresh turmeric?
That can work too. Fresh ground turmeric tea works great. But there's certain types of turmeric in pills that you instantly absorb. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
You need to do a significant amount of turmeric tea every day.
Yeah, so like a couple of liters, something like that.
No, it all depends on how much turmeric, your fresh turmeric you're grinding up and what kind of quality it is.
Yeah.
Let's say you simmered the shit out of a whole bunch and you got, let's say, 2 liters of it. You need to drink that every 3 days.
Yeah.
Because you can cool it off and keep drinking it, but just know as soon as you cook something, it begins to lose a portion of its strength. You'd be better off in pill format, but as some form of instantaneous release, you could also drink half of that 2 liters over a full day, and you're going to get some instant inflammatory relief, but you also might get the shits.
Oh yeah. But that might not be a bad thing. Yeah.
6 of one, half a dozen another here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. What about detoxes and stuff?
You can mix black pepper, cayenne, turmeric, black pepper, garlic, a whole bunch of stuff together and have like this hell of an alchemical formula too.
Yeah, just put everything in there. Like a brew.
Well, there's certain things you do that does it. So you could have avocado, black pepper, honey, cayenne, turmeric, celery, and some orange peel. And that right there can be a powerful juice. There's a whole bunch of recipes out there that are like that. And that's an overall anti-inflammatory, body-enhancing juice.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll look that up.
Yeah.
But also, I had another question.
Sure.
Lately, for half of last year up to this point, I've been seeing blue lights a lot. Like almost like a diode light, but it's popping up in my reality every once in a while, every day, and I don't know what it is.
Are you seeing it at the restaurant, or are you seeing it more at home?
No, everywhere, anywhere.
You're being activated, is what it is.
Okay.
How long have you been out of work now?
Almost 2 months.
Okay, and you're basically on like a sick leave. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
But you still have the job, and if you go back, you're gonna have to deal with the dickwad.
Yes.
Are you experienced enough to go and get a job somewhere else that pays just as good?
Yeah, but it's not many jobs going on right now. You know, it's a small town, it's a seasoned city, so yeah, I would have to go really down in quality of life and work if I did that. I'm seriously considering it.
Are you do you like living where you're at?
Yes, yes, I do actually.
What about the place do you like so much?
It's very close to the coastline. I got an excellent view everywhere. I can star watch here, and I got nature just inside. So everything is a short walk or a bike trip away, you know, and it's really peaceful.
Now, this
Yeah.
person that is this person above you in the management scenario?
Yeah, right now he is.
Do you think he's going to last at that job?
I don't think so. It can't last, but it's lasted longer than I thought already, you know. I'm like, isn't karma gonna manifest soon, you know?
No, it's the restaurant industry. It doesn't matter. Karma doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Karma doesn't mean shit. Why are you out sick? What is the reason for it?
The thing is, I was going to school at the same time as and my work experience as a teacher was really, really rough. And when I got back to the restaurant, I was already drained and tired. And so this guy completely fucked up the entire restaurant while I was gone. And I couldn't, it was impossible to talk. The energy was horrible. And I talked to my boss above him.
And what'd your boss
One
say?
time, twice. It was like he was putting his head in the sand. So it was like he didn't. It's like he didn't know knew what was going on, even though he knows, you know. And
Right, because he's actually making a difference
yeah.
at a time probably where the season's light.
Yeah.
See, that's the unfortunate thing about the restaurant industry. They'll bring in the assholes to act like a Napoleon for a while and beat everybody up, and then that's how that guy does. Goes from job to job to job doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the guy. I'm busting myself having really, really bad thoughts towards him, you know, and I'm like, dude, just let that guy go. Let karma deal with him, you know.
So are you in a situation, I know in your country they have a lot of government assistance. Like, can you go away from the restaurant industry and get some kind of government assistance?
They're supporting me financially right now, you know. Okay. So that's not a big issue. Money's not the issue, but
then go into your own business, man. Chefs have been doing that for 10,000 years.
Doing what? Thinking.
You could have a food cart. You could have a food truck. Just anything. Open a restaurant. Cook food privately for people. Cook it all at home and deliver it to them.
Yeah.
It's just about, are you ready to sell yourself and not be under the man's control?
Yeah, maybe. I thought about that. And me and my mentor thought about having a go.
Sit down with him. If you got money, this is the time to think about it, because you get to use the off season to test your recipes, look at the interest. Okay. As long as you got a cell phone and an internet connection, you could also give chef lessons worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, it's like I'm really scared of it also, because I'm feeling like I have to heal first, if you know what I mean. It's like you know, when you go into the restaurant business and then you go in.
No. You're gonna heal yourself through your cooking of your own food without anybody looking over you, doing your pure alchemy. So you're laughing because you know it's true. You got that asshole looking over you. They're never gonna do it there.
Yeah. That's true.
Hey, come on, don't shit yourself here. Shoot yourself in the foot. Hey, what's your favorite type of foods to cook?
You know, stews, broths, stuff that takes a hell of a long time. And the stuff you recommended people over the years. I remember the guy with cancer calling in, and you recommended food for him. That was excellent advice. And I was thinking at this as you were talking, yes, broth, yes. You know,
Broth.
a lot of meat. Yeah, broths and stews and shanks and tough meat that takes a long time to cook. Bracing.
Bone marrow.
Yeah, bone marrow. It's really
Okay.
good.
So in your particular area, are food trucks popular?
They're starting to pop up. They just legalized food trucks just a couple of years back.
Okay. You
The
could also
government is
get a
really
trailer,
tight here.
a 10 by 20 trailer, or 10 by 12 trailer with a basic kitchen inside there and cook the hell out of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. If you got a partner or somebody that you can go into it, it's just coming up with your menu, knowing what you guys already do good at. And, obviously it's a light winter, but you could head to the ski areas and sell the shit out of stuff too.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. You got to use winter to your advantage. All right.
Yeah.
It's just getting the license and allowing it to be done.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? You could technically cook out of your car if you get, those Coleman gas grills on a picnic bench. Okay?
Yeah, I'll just do it in a hole in the ground, caveman style, maybe.
Dutch oven. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing for you is if you got time, make videos. So it's not everyone coming to you for teaching. Your video is the teacher, and you could put together a 2-hour basic cooking 101 class, not just eggs and this and that, how to cook a real broth, how to do this, how to do that. And that can be a $20, $30 product. As you have a website for your teaching?
No. The teaching course that I did was actually to become a teacher in high school, actually, for culinary school, actually. Maybe going online is better.
Well, you can go and get a website for virtually nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, and just do the.
Okay.
Maybe YouTube also. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, YouTube is the way you advertise who you are. Okay. You got to YouTube that as putting out free stuff for people to click through and go to your website and buy stuff.
Yeah.
Or become a fan and a follower who then recommend other people to come and learn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. The other thing is, like I said before, you can write your version of Kitchen Confidential.
Yeah, write the book. Yeah.
Book. Brutal. Okay. But you got to want to do stuff like that. Right now, you just want to heal through cooking. That's what you want to do. And you want people to taste your alchemy. I can feel it in you.
Yeah. And I do love that.
You got a bunch of friends that you could call on?
Yeah, I have a few, but most of them are in the business as well. Not that much time getting friends anywhere else. But I do
go to work early and come home late, don't they?
Yeah, but I do cook for family,
Okay.
And friends whenever I can.
Well, reach out to family, because families have friends that you may know as acquaintances, and say, I've got to go on a cooking binge and I need you guys to taste test my stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's going to heal you. Just seeing the smile on their face or the look of satisfaction. Okay?
Yeah.
Let that heal you. Okay?
Yeah. Beginning by doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's the business that's been the problem. So I got to change up the business.
That's right.
But not the cooking.
Right. Let the cooking be the cooking and let the business change the way it needs to change.
Have I done this before? Is this?
Oh yeah, you've done this before.
Almost like a life path kind of thing.
You have just as many lifetimes where you were brewing alcohol, wine, and spirits. That's a different form of stuffing. You also have had many lifetimes where you're like a doctor or a healer or a veterinarian. You've got a lot, just as many lifetimes doing that. And you have quite a few lifetimes where you're in the military, but you're really not a soldier. You're a support person. And you have, I go back, let's say about 400 to 600 BC, you kind of have a philosopher's theme path where you do a lot of philosophizing and writing and trying to help the next generation understand morals and codes and concepts.
Yeah, I do that today as well, actually. The philosophy thing.
Oh, you
I
can
do-
write
I
the
do-
Tao of philosophical cooking. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that might actually be a really good idea.
I think, therefore I eat. Somebody,
I eat
yeah,
because
I
I
eat.
must.
I think. Yeah, start putting the philosophy into the cooking style.
Yeah. And also, I was wondering, you had a food revocation, and I was looking for it online, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I lost it when my last phone died. Does anyone have the food revocation? You can
I'll
put it
have
in
to.
the chat room, maybe. Or...
I've done so many of them. I can't remember them all. If anyone
Oh, yeah.
remembers food revocation, could you link that in here? Or I don't know if it's in the Google Drive right now.
Yeah, that would be awesome because it's a nice prayer, before even cooking.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just gotta open up and let it flow yourself.
Yeah, I can just make one. Yeah.
Right. I, as the ever-present chef in this moment of now, decide to I am create. Oh, sacred onion and carrots that have come to you, I pull out my sacred knife and begin the chopping process without losing the tips of my fingers. Sacred cutting board, here I go. Okay?
And if I lose
Sometimes
some
you
blood, here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, brother, I got to let you go and move on to the next caller. Thank you so much for calling.
Yeah, thank you so much, Andrew. Keep up the good work.
I will.
Thanks.
All right, man. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Okay, that was a great call. Vicky Bryant, you're next with Andrew. Oh wait,
Vicky, are you
Vicky,
there?
hold on, I can't unmute her for some reason. Let me go on to the next person really quick. Leah Tomer.
Leah, are you there?
Hi, Andrew. I am. Can you hear
How are
me?
you doing today? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pittsburgh. I called you about 2 months ago, so I'm kind of surprised I got through again, but hello.
Well, Wheel of Callers has let you through. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, let's see. I do have a little bit of a list. I came a bit more prepared than I was last time. And the last time we spoke, you had told me some things regarding some of my mission work here in this lifetime, which was prayer. And one of the things that we touched on as well was the karmic relationship that I was in right before my deliverance and during my deliverance. And at the time, I just didn't want to delve into that. And I was wondering if you would be willing to dip into some Akashic records and give me some more information pertaining to that connection with this man.
You were the caller that was getting off of drugs at that time and you had an ayahuasca experience?
Yes.
Okay, I remember you.
Yeah.
How old is the gentleman?
He is 28.
And how old were you when you first met him?
We met 2 years ago, and I'm 34 currently.
32.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to know generally the karmic relationship and the past life entanglements?
Yes.
All right. So there's an entangled story here. So first thing first, we're not going to give away names. We're just going to call him Bob for right now.
Okay.
I'm going to go to a very significant aspect. So you were born late 1890, so 1896, 1897, and died in 1959. So you were roughly 63 years old when you died, but you were in your early 20s when the Great Depression started. Okay.
Mhm.
And during the Great Depression, Prohibition was going on. And you had decided to join the fledgling FBI alcohol tobacco groups back then. Okay.
Mhm.
And so you were a cop, essentially. Something like The Untouchables. You ever see that movie?
I don't recall. I've kind of lived under a rock for the past 6 years.
Well, that movie came out in the 80s. It's all right.
Okay.
All right. Kevin Costner, Untouchables. If you've never seen that movie, it would be a good movie for you to go see.
Okay.
So the world is corrupt as hell then. And you end up becoming a corrupt cop. And you get lured into, you're living in Boston at the time. So you're with the Irish mafias. And the Irish mafias went to war with the Italian mafias. And Bob was also a corrupt cop. And he was dealing in out, you were a prohibitionist. So first of all, you helped them smuggle alcohol, et cetera, et cetera. You were a man at that particular lifetime, obviously. And you had a chain of abusing women. So every week there was a new woman, and you would slap them around when they were drunk to get your way. Now, Bob had a very similar habit, except he was more violent. And he was in the Italian mafia. Now, generally, the Italians and the Irish didn't get along, but for some reason, the two of you did. And it had to do with the way you abused your loved ones.
Mm.
Now, as a history, both you and him in that era were abused as young children, mentally, verbally, and sexually. So you were traumatized people. Okay?
Mhm.
And how do I put this? Because of the nature of your traumas, you had to play that out on others. But once you got large sums of money in your pocket, you would give people money to accept the abuse. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I lived out in this life, in the sexual entertainment industry.
Right.
Mhm.
So you kind of got the money paid for the abuse.
Mm.
Okay. And that's why you and him had a lifetime, because you were a team of abusers back then. Now, when you died, you had a life review. And when he died, he had a life review in which you had all this abuse entanglement. And your higher souls, when they were making the new I Am, said, all right, we're going to wait a while before we come back in. But when the two of you were physically born, so you were out of circulation in the reality throughout the 60s and 70s until you were particularly born. And the best way to say is the greatest way for you to resolve karma between yourselves and those that you abused in previous lifetimes was to be in an abusive relationship together that involved drugs, sex, money, etc. And the people that were around you, your mother and father, his mother and father, and your best friends would have been all people that would have been in your mafia type organizations, higher and lower than you. Many of them who would have given you warning, stop slapping around the women, or we're going to take care of you, or would encourage you to slap around the people of that particular area because women didn't have rights back then. But also forced servitude. And that's another theme in your life, isn't it?
What do you mean by that particularly?
You were made to do something, and if you didn't, you get the shit beat out of you. Things you didn't want to do.
No, it wasn't that way in this life for me, or him. So that I don't know how that resonates. Neither one of us were physically abused for not doing things that, if anything, we've always both kind of been, have had thick skin and, don't put up with shit. So
Yes, but there was still overarching aspects that forced you into a choice instead of choosing the right thing and getting away from the abusive relationship.
Not in my experience, and not that from what he's told me, no. So I'm a little curious as
I
to
think
what that might be.
you're just missing what I'm trying to say. You guys were led into that lifestyle as the higher spirits trying to guide you into something that you had to go through. Your soul's purpose was to go through this abusing experience so you can come out on the other side. That's why you had your potent experience while on ayahuasca, to help you reconnect to love, help you reconnect to that frequency of being a real person with a full set of choices.
Why do then he and I feel that there are much deeper ties to this, and that there's more?
There are. And this goes back to the lifetimes before this, where you're both in, this is a tricky way to describe this. You're both in China as part of the opium dens. Are you familiar with Chinese opium den history?
Vaguely, yes.
So once a worker got hooked on opium, most of their money went to the opium den. They lived and breathed and slept in the opium when they were working or at their job. And when they left, they would be at the opium den. That was their house, the den, literally.
Yeah.
Okay. And
like the modern day trap house.
Right. But they also gave up their children, sold their children into slavery. So you had a lot of lifetime where that's what happened, where you might have been the child that was sold into slavery, or you might have been the mother and father hooked on opium, or the worker or whatever. And that's a significant, massive ancestral karma process there. And you two have a connection to resolve karma, and for both of you to be on your dharmic journeys. Do you understand the main difference between karma and dharma?
I believe I do, yes.
So you have a higher propensity in lifetime of doing a dharmic journey, meaning where you're doing service for others, and part of your healing service is getting healing out of yourself. He not necessarily has the propensity for dharma because he has a lot more karmas to resolve. If somebody's on the dharmic path and has a relationship with a karmic person, the dharmic person always loses out because you have to lower to their level unless they do the inner work and stop repeating the same lessons.
Now you're touching on something that it's starting to hit key points. Like I feel this, that's where the unconditional love comes in, and seeing it from, you know, a different perspective outside of the logistics. It's, you know, at this point, you know, my best case scenario to even assist with that has been in prayer for him. And I've actually seen him work through a lot of these things in a relatively quick period of time. And I know that the work I'm doing with prayer is helping him on another level.
But he also has to be able to do it himself.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm at with it right now.
Your karmic entanglement is how much is too much before you're enabling him and he won't do it on his own, and just repeat the past.
Absolutely.
Hundreds of lifetimes. Because there's been many lifetimes you've tried to get him out, and many lifetimes he's tried to get you out. But you got yourself out through the last life review. And you got yourself out because the last life review, your past life self came during that ayahuasca journey as part of the ayahuasca medicine to go, time to get up, time to get out, wake up. Love.
So what he was channeling that night, was that one of the attachments from this karmic debt? Because it was dark.
And worse. What
do you mean, and worse? Thank you for helping me with this. This is something that I've been trying to figure out for some time because it's intense, you know?
So he has other lifetimes where he was extremely dark magical practitioner.
Yep.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And that was coming through a person who was in an opium den who was selling their children, who didn't give a shit about the world.
That's who he was at the time, you're saying?
Yes, but one of his other selves, who's the dark magician, is quite aware of that opium den life and was able to work through and worm through time and get to the future him to try to literally take over his living body. That's possession, demonic possession of
Yes, I've seen this.
his own self.
I've seen it. He has 4 main attachments, and the one that's super, super dark hates my guts.
Well, it's more than 4. First thing first.
Okay, those are the ones that I've counted for.
Yeah, but it's much more than 4. It's much more than 4. And you don't need to know a number. It's just say it's much more than 4. In his particular journey is to cut the cords, have spiritual hygiene, lead a semi-decent life that has spiritual sovereignty as part of it, begin the forgiveness process of himself and others, and understand that if he doesn't self-heal and self-nurture on a regular cyclical basis, he will fall back to being a person who's waiting to be enabled.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What, ready to be enabled?
Yes, waiting to be enabled by others.
So I guess I'll end with this question and saying, is there a reason for me to even hold hope that this can be reconciled in this life with he and I, or?
Hope is the wrong word.
Okay.
Hope eventually turns toxic on itself.
Absolutely.
And then you're smoking the hopium.
Yeah.
Okay? So hope is the wrong word. You just have to stand your ground, hold your boundaries, and understand his emergencies can't outweigh yours. And there's going to come a point where he's in emergency mode, and there are times that you need to heal yourself because of the journey that you're on, or you have a big evolution coming, and if 10% of your focus is on him and 90% of your focus on your other stuff, you're not fully focused on your own stuff.
Right.
You can't have any form of codependency with him, and he's still a dependency of codependency with you. Okay?
Thank
and
you.
really shouldn't have any form of physical intimacy with him at all.
Yeah.
Okay?
We don't. If I may just ask just a few more questions. So what I'm going through right now is I'm struggling a bit with trying to find my footing in 3D after exiting the sexual entertainment industry and not really having a skill set much else aside from the service industry, food, beverage, hospitality, which I just listened to the last caller, and that industry is rough in and of itself, and I don't really want much to do with that. I worked with a few mentors within my means financially to be able to do so. My first mentor actually turned on me, and I was actually wondering if you could dip into that and find out.
You're going to have that happen on you because you're still fresh into your healing, and it's your energy. Okay, you were in the sex industry. You don't realize how potent that is. And there are other people who can't handle being around somebody that has potent sexual energy because they've got some major issue sexually inside themselves. It's like a pheromone. And be glad that they did betray you that early. Be glad. They showed their colors. And, I don't wish for betrayal for anybody. You just happen to be coming out of the time where ayahuasca did a number on you for a reason. Okay? And it's not about finding mentors right now. It's you finding educators. Okay? I know money is tight, but maybe you just need to go and take the 5-month massage school. Okay?
How'd you know about that? How'd you know I do body work?
Okay? Get your license, and then you could do that job worldwide. Okay.
I was gonna ask about that pertaining to the gifts. I know I have certain gifts, and things have popped in and out. I've actually had to do a bit of a pause, a revocation with my gifts because it was coming in too fast and I couldn't integrate them. So I was wondering if you could elaborate a bit on that, and then I appreciate your time. You've answered all my questions.
Again, you're a dharmic healer, so it's not just healing by hands. It's healing by presence. Just sometimes your presence alone as a potent energy is a healing for people. You also have to expand your capacity that you can be a presenter for other people who are recovering through similar concepts of you by making a speech, writing a book, doing a comic book. You can be a healer in 10,000 different ways. Have you ever noticed that you have an ability to doodle or draw?
No, actually, that's one of the things that hasn't really been my thing since childhood. I'm a writer.
You can doodle. Every writer can doodle.
Huh. So what's up with these blockages that I keep having? Like I have these snippets of this greatness, and I mean this in the most humble way. I mean, it almost knocks me off my feet sometimes. And I don't.
Is the sex industry stole a lot of your creativity.
Uh-huh.
You had to use that to help your clients. Believe it or not, there was a karmic retribution and resolution between you and all your clients and all the situations that you were in.
It's a lot of people, man.
Doesn't matter anymore, though. It's paid, done. And you got to remind yourself, I don't need to repeat that debt. Those are cleared for all of eternity.
That's what it feels like. It feels like I've cleared my karmic debt. And now it's a time for me to write my story. I felt this shift. I was in Costa Rica. I didn't end up staying because some things moved around, as they always do. Plans kind of blew up in my face. And it's like, okay, cool. I guess we're doing this now. But I felt this shift happen, like this death. A part of me died while I was in Costa Rica.
And you needed it. And you needed it. So as I was saying before, you need educators, not mentors. Okay. So another choice, instead of going into the massage school and getting an actual license, go to a community college and take a creative writing class. How good are you at typing?
I'm really good at typing.
Like 100 words a minute good?
I started on a typewriter when I was 8 years old, so I had a little bit of an advantage to all my peers. Yeah, I'm pretty fast.
So you could also go and do something that's called court recording. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So court recorders are one of the most sought after personalities right now. And you can go do I think an 8-month court recording class, and you'd be working for doctors and lawyers and people who need the stuff to do that, because a lot of the voice to transfer software sucks ass. If you wanted to go corporate, but I don't think
that's not me, Andrew. I struggle. Like you said, my mere presence, that one mentor who turned on me, she said, Leah, you could literally walk into your room and say nothing and dump my whole container.
It's because she had a lot of her own sexual dysfunctions. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just know that going forward, because of your experience and the healing that you went through, people who have sexual issues, they won't be able to be around you, or they'll be fawning over you like a superstar.
It's like 90% of society.
Unfortunately, but you also went through that experience to help that 90% of society. Okay. So my advice is take that 6-month, the 4-month, 5-month massage school, or you got to sit down and write. I like to tell people to use your cell phone, record images, stories, thoughts, concept, and then just transcribe the shit out of them. You're a good typist.
Yeah. Is that part of my prayer work that you were talking about, or is that separate?
Absolutely, that too. And anything you convert to digital document doubles down on your healing journey, because you got to go back, read it and edit it and add more creativity to it.
So I guess it's just kind of get by till then, right?
No, it's a changing of the mindset. It's a changing of the mindset is what it is. Because you can't just get by until the time comes. You have to prepare knowing that the time is already now.
I guess it's time to stop living under that rock then, huh?
It's time to stop turning all the rocks over for a while.
I don't understand what you mean. I don't know what that means.
You lift up all the rocks looking for everything you've missed. The story, leave no stone unturned.
Yeah.
You're turning all the stones over around you. What are you doing for a job now?
I'm not working right now.
What would you want to do if you were working?
I have no idea.
Come on, be truthful with yourself.
I honestly don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I have these blockages where even within my mind, I'm getting
You don't
stuck.
have the willpower right now.
Correct. Thank you.
For the longest time, you made a lot more money in the sex industry versus whatever hourly shit job you're going to get.
Correct.
And that is the pendulum that's fucking you up right now.
That's exactly it. So how do I get out of that?
Well, first thing first is you have to accept the lower wage personally, individually, so that there's not the sex industry out. Because you could work 1 day a week and make more money than waiting tables. Okay? That's the truth, right?
Yep. It was. I can make more in 2 hours than I can make in a week. Oh no, the cat just got out.
Okay. You can't go back to that.
Sorry, my roommate's cat just got out.
Okay.
Come here. Ow!
He doesn't want to come back in.
Sorry, I just got attacked by my roommate's cat who snuck out. He won't. He just attacked me. Can you help me?
Okay.
Oh well, I'm just gonna. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Cat karma.
Yeah, I have cat as a totem, so that makes sense.
Okay. So you have to eliminate the choice of going back to that industry for more money and living the old way.
It's not an option for me anymore.
Right. But it's still a weirdo choice because you're going to accept $11 an hour job. Okay. Get what I'm saying?
No, I missed you there.
There's a part of you who can't accept an $11 an hour job working 40 hours a week for $440 a week for compared to what you can do.
Right.
This part of you needs to move on too. That's your next part of healing. Get any job. Okay? Anything. Anything at all. Get that 2 weeks paycheck, even if you got to quit after it. Get that job and know that your inner work is, I've got to have an income to build my own confidence. Okay? Try not to work at a bar. Okay? That's a lot of weirdo energies in there too. Let me think. Just hold on, let me scan a second here. You don't really have any other education, do you?
Nope.
But you're a really damn good typist. All right. So that does give you a potential of working at an office. So you can go to one of those job service places like Manpower or any of those other job finding services and basically say, I'm a really good typist. That's the only thing that I want to do. Okay? You will get jobs for a typist and data entry. And they'll pay you 10 to 16 bucks an hour. But you will be in an office. You will be semi-corporate. But that will get you into a new mindset. Okay? Yeah. See, there's a party that doesn't even want to do that.
Well, I know it's necessary. It's part of my discipline, integrating back into the world outside of being a divergent.
Or you go balls to the walls, for the lack of the better metaphor, into your writing.
See, that resonates.
Okay. But who's going to hold you accountable for pages per day and editing?
Oh, I can do that. I can have that kind of discipline. I almost feel like I need to be an entrepreneur in order to be,
you have people that will be able to read your stuff.
Yeah. And if I don't have them right away, I'll source them. I'm very good with manifesting the right people in my life. That's one thing I'm very good at for whatever reason.
There's your choices. You can do both, or you can do one at a time. Okay?
Yep.
It's a matter of choice right now.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like things are going to shift here soon, but a lot of it requires the internal discipline and patience and,
action. It just requires action right now.
Yeah.
You've been ready for months. It just requires you to stop hesitating and doubting the action of itself.
And what about my gifts? Like, is there going to come a time when I can re-explore those again without them being full blast bombardment?
Yes. Yes, but you're going to need work done on you. Okay. You're going to need to invest in somebody that you can trade, get some cash or trade work for on body work. You need to have cranial sacral therapy done.
What's
Okay.
that?
So it's this form of massage that uses a 5-gram touch on specific pressure points along the back of the spine, the back of the head, the tailbone, that can cause an unraveling of fascia around the spinal column. And a lot of people go through full-on somatic releases.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
those blockages.
Those blockages are built in because every paid person that you were with created a blockage in the physical
Well,
body.
that probably came from the molestation and the attacks from my childhood too, right? Like in the dream realm and in the physical.
Yes. That is why you need, because it's right now it's an echo stuck in the body. You've done a lot of the mental healing, and ayahuasca has helped you realize through your saving movement. Now you have to do the diligence of getting it out of the body. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is there going to be more clarity there, right?
Well, it's not just clarity, so much less volume inside your central nervous system where you'll be able to hear how your skill sets are talking to you through spirit.
Real quick.
Think of it like 10 radio stations and 25 TV stations playing all at once. Can you hear any one of them? No. But they're all over you. Okay.
When I was flying back,
one station.
When I was flying back from Costa Rica, as I was starting to have some clarity after, you know, the death that I had, and the wrapping up of cycles and the connection of some of the dreams that I had that started to make sense. I started hearing songs. They were ancestor songs. There were 3 of them. And I was asked to join in and hum with it and bring it through my vocal cords. And it was definitely the ancestors. And I was wondering why they came to me then and why they asked me to sing.
Many reasons. You were finishing up an ancestral journey to Costa Rica, which meant you were ending an era of karma between certain groups of ancestors. You were getting rid of the trailer trash soul family. And that song was to remind you to stay connected to the good soul family. You couldn't help the trailer trash soul family anymore.
Is that the hollow earth when they brought me up here, when you described that, like I was used for power and control? Was that the ending of that? Is that what you mean?
No, because part of that's still going on, just not at the frequency of what it was before. The ones that will never grow up, the ones that will never get out of domination and control.
What do you mean that's still going on? You mean within me?
No, in your higher realms. The world, it's an infinite world out there. And because of the DNA that you have that is highly desirable, you're just not in a form of battle that you were before. You're more like in a form of negotiation and haggling now in the unseen realms.
What about this DNA? Because I felt this before too. Like I innately knew this, that there was something about my DNA.
You got to get deeper into your healing path, because any word I say right now, you will not truly understand it until you've gotten the sexual abuse energy out of your central nervous system. It's going to be too high of a frequency for you to really get and retain. Ask me that question after you've done about 15 hours of cranial sacral therapy and had some somatic releases. You'll be able to process it a lot more. Okay.
Something else, just, and I will let you go after this. Thank you so much. It's been beckoning me. The child that I conceived with Bob, the 3rd time we made love, there was definitely darkness on our tails. Like as soon as we consummated union, and she came to me in spirit before I met him and told me her name. And you know, the night we conceived, as soon as it happened, I knew. I saw 2 white, coiling, bright snakes in my mind's eye. And I looked down and I said, we conceived. We have about 3 days to get a morning after pill. I ended up staying pregnant and decided to terminate that pregnancy. I was not ready, but there is a part of me that It's one of my biggest regrets, and I never thought that it would be. Is there a chance that I could have a second chance at that at some point, or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just because you chose the morning after or you chose to terminate it doesn't mean that child didn't complete something in you. It did. Everything was pre-planned, even your termination and your choice of whatever. You absolutely can have that have many more children, but you've got some clearing of the sexual trauma so that you can truly conceive that child without the restrictions inside your womb.
Right. Well, it would have to be with him. I've already made that commitment. Like, that's just what.
No. There's plenty of other people that the same child can come in with. Don't limit yourself as an unlimited being.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'm just confused right now.
Plenty of other people. Okay. This is still a reflection of how much you still love him, but also know that he's not really at the stable stage like you're at. Okay. He's nowhere
Yeah.
near the level of healed you are. And you also have to know going forward, you can't be with low frequency people anymore. You just can't. You will fall back to your old ways no matter what. If you keep keeping low frequent people in your mental intimate world, you got to let him go. That's the only way he's going to look for you to enabling him and truly have the journey on his own. Why didn't he have a full-on alchemical healing like you did?
He had a Kundalini awakening before we met, actually a few months prior. And I almost, he had some sort of thing that happened, not anywhere.
He had a demonic awakening. He still got the attachments.
What is that? What is a demonic awakening?
The demon took more of his soul, fed on a huge chunk of it, and gave him a dopamine release as his own parts of his own soul were being eaten.
Wow. So it really is that dark. Wow.
Mm-hmm. But he can beat it, but he's got to do it on his own. And he needs educators, not mentors around him, similar to you.
Educators, what's the difference between educators and mentors?
Mentors you get a lot closer to. Okay. Educators are there. Here's the information, bye-bye. Here's the information, bye-bye. Here's the information.
Oh, yeah. He has to do it himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was told that by the ayahuasca shaman.
No one else can lead him by the hand. That includes you.
Yeah, I'm done with his shit, so I can't do it anymore.
But there's a part of you who isn't done with this shit. And that's your healing. And it's okay. You can't just stop loving somebody. I can tell you that from my own experience. It's hard.
So are you saying I have to completely let him go, like, and move on with somebody else? Is that what's required here?
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't want to do that right now, do you?
I don't know how.
Yes, you do. It just hurts too much.
I don't know. I really don't. That's what I'm saying. If I knew how, I would.
The answer is you do. It hurts too much for you to think about it. That's why you can't perceive a potential answer, because it hurts too much.
Please walk me through this, because this is so frustrating.
Day by day, week by week, year by year, as you grow your own victories into your dharmic path and have successes without him influencing your successes, you will understand why you got to do your part of your inner work journey on your own. And to be on your dharmic journey, you got to go out and succeed, and you can't have the dead weight holding you back anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any revocations I can do for that? because I've already tried.
The chords, blanket forgiveness. So you can create an energetic space between the two of you. Set him on his own path. Make that the common words. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, darling, I got to let you go. Thank you so
Yes.
much for calling in.
Thank you for having me again. I truly appreciate it. And I'll be in touch maybe once I do some more work.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, I think it's time to go ahead and end the show. This has been a fabulous, fun show. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. And we will be back next Thursday with an amazing new show. All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different level of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma.
Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail.
Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.